Hello and welcome to the lovely Kirsty. I have to start off by saying we need to give Lewis his credit because you were Wilson. It's Lewis Wilson. I was just trying to remember his second name there. You are actually Kirsty, Lewis Wilson's best friend, who he often refers to you in his TikToks and his social media and whatever. So thank you, Lewis, for introducing me to Kirsty, because Kirsty's got quite a story to share, and it's another aspect of child loss that I haven't actually had on my podcast before, and it's the situation where you gave birth to twins and sadly one of the babies passed, and you've now got a twinless twin, which is a phrase I only learned last night and I'm just telling you. And really you're just here to share your story like everybody, you know, everybody that's been here has wanted to do, but also that whole thing about raising awareness of that situation, sharing the journey, the trauma, the mental health and everything that you've experienced as a result of that. And this is your first time on a podcast, isn't it? Yes. But you have been on the telly.
Yeah, I've been on the telly, I've been on
What was the name of it again? Tiny Lives?
Tiny Lives.
I never, people will know that, but I didn't see it. And that was you sharing the story of, was it two girls?
Two girls.
You had, right.
Two identical.
So this is your first time actually talking about it. So it is a big deal for you, but you're really keen on getting it out there and sharing your story. So hopefully this will be the start of it for you. You can do social media and all that type of thing and support where you can.
It is a stigma. Do you know, like, baby loss is like a stigma that nobody wants to talk about. Like, do you know, like, you'll never find somebody talking about it to you.
You wouldn't rock up and start off a conversation. I know. But then, but it is something that loads of people are interested in. And everybody's story is different. Everybody's is unique, and yours is unique as well, just like everybody's. So take us right back to the whole pregnancy.
I know. Came as a shock.
The pregnancy itself,
or
the right? So the whole thing.
The whole thing. So I found it quite early I was pregnant because I went out one night and I had a real side when I was drinking. I couldn't get drunk and I'm like, no, something's not right, do you know? So, and I used to love dragon soup, can't stomach it now, but I used to love dragon soup, and my head was banging. I'm like, no, I can't. And it was the following day, I'm like, I think I'm pregnant, like. So
it just came into your mind.
It just came into my mind. It was just that instinct. I'm like, I think I'm pregnant. So I didn't want to tell anybody, so I waited till Kevin's like
your partner.
So I waited till he was away and I took a test, and it was the faintest line you can like up to the light and all that, like, do you know. And I left it. I was like, maybe it is, maybe it is. And the only person I told was my sister. And the next day I took one of the clear blue, like the digital ones, and I came back, I was pregnant. I was like, oh God. And I never spoke about children. Like, it was, I worked in a nursery, traumatised for life, working in a nursery.
That's okay.
So it wasn't a thing that I thought, all right, in the future I want kids, like this and that. Never came like that, so it came as a great big shock.
So you weren't maternal at all?
Never ever thought I wanted a family or anything like that. I was just enjoying life, like, it was great. And then so found out I was pregnant, and I started kind of bleeding quite early, and I must have only been about what I thought was like 3+ weeks or something. So went into early maternity. They told me I was too early to tell, to come back in 2 weeks' time. So me and my partner were carrying on to everybody that we were having twins.
Oh my
God.
For
this scan. And obviously he phoned his mum, he's like, oh, it's twins. And she's like, you're joking. Like, he's like, no, I'm only
kidding.
And
you were joking?
We were joking, it was a joke, because they couldn't really see anything because it was quite too early for a scan. So she's like, come back in 2 weeks. So we went back, and he never came because we thought everything's going to be fine. It's just to make sure there's a wee healthy heartbeat there. And I would have been 7 weeks pregnant. And my mum came with me, and she's scanning, she's showing me the heartbeat, or like, there's a wee flutter there and blah blah, and everything was great. And she was finishing the scan, and she just literally moved it, and she's like, no, hold on a minute. She was like, I just need to check something. And my mum's like, it's twins, and twins run in my mum's family.
I was just going to ask you that. That was my next question.
My mum's had twin brothers, so it runs, but they two passed away.
Both of them?
Both of them, 2 years before. Different circumstance. It was 2 years apart they passed.
And this was your mum's brothers?
Yeah.
So that would be your cousins?
My uncles.
Is that what you mean?
They would have been my uncles.
Oh, right, okay.
So, because she lost A2, she was like, it's twins, it's twins. And I'm like, no, it's no, like, she would have seen if it was twins. And she's like, she said there's a wee heartbeat behind the other baby. And I'm like, no. My mum just started screaming, like, pure joy, like, it was, and I was sitting there like, no, no way, like, twins. So they've done some checks and that to confirm that there was two heartbeats there. I think they call MC some twins if they're identical. They were in the same sack.
And were they?
Yeah, right. So that's how there was no separate sack to say twin 2 was hiding behind the other wee one. So that was it. I'm like, oh God, oh my God, they'd be twins, like, do you know, like, but it was excitement at the same time, do you know. It was good.
You just deal with whatever's thrown your way, don't you? As women, that's what we do.
That's it. Like, it was just like, we'll deal with it and it'll be great, 2 of them, do you know, like. So I had a healthy pregnancy, really healthy pregnancy. Was scanned every 2 weeks. Lewis came to all the scans with me. As you can imagine, it was like, is that the father? I'm like, absolutely the father. You know what Lewis is like? Early mornings, I used to bribe him with a soup right enough, like, I'll get you a soup after you come home. Because it was always first thing in the morning. But absolutely healthy pregnancy up until I was 23 weeks. Nothing was wrong or that. And the hanging meant to get a COVID jag, and I said. So
when did this happen? Was it 2 years ago now?
So this Ayla's coming up 4. So
right.
Really?
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh God,
I know,
that time has flown by.
Yep.
Right, so it was 4 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So that just shows you how traumatic the whole thing is, that it's taking you this long. I mean, grief, there's no timeline on it anyway, but.
No, definitely.
But anyway, so.
So they had just started bringing out the COVID jag to pregnant women, but me working in a nursery, I already had the first COVID jag, and I had said to them, I says, like, I've got the jag, blah blah, and they just pressured me. They were just like, no, but if you don't get the booster, like, you can end up in ICU, and like your babies can be very ill, and just kind of scaremongered me. And I was like, no, I'm not getting it. Like, I'm not wanting a jag. Because I've already had it, right? So she was like, well, we're here till 8 o'clock tonight if you change your mind. Now, this would have been a few days before Christmas, the 20th of December. That's when it was. It was the 20th of December.
2021.
2021, aye. And went back, we were sitting eating dinner, and I was like to Lewis, do you know, I'm just going to get the jag. Because that's all I kept thinking about was, I don't want to harm the babies. Like, COVID was, like, spiked at that point. And I went back and got the jag, and it was the worst thing I've ever done.
Do you think that was what? Oh my God.
Because the scanner had that day, there was fluid difference between the two of them, which wasn't a concern because it happens with identical twins. You can get 20 twin transfusion, which means one baby takes more fluid for the other. But there was no concern about it, and like, it was fine. So
everything was completely healthy up until that point.
Up until I got the jag. I went and got the jag at 6 o'clock that night. The next day I was ill. Like, I was total wiped out. I took early maternity because my pregnancy was high risk. So they were due on the March. Well, they were due in the April, but I would have gave birth to them in the March.
Were you classed as high risk purely because it was twins? Yeah. No other factor, just twins?
Just because it was twins, and the type of twins they were in the same sack.
Right.
There's a word for it, but I can't remember.
I know what you mean. I know there is a word, and I don't remember it either, but I know what you mean.
So I was off work anyway. So on the Tuesday, I was ill. Like, I was so unwell. And I just put it down to aches and pains, do you know, like, for the jag. And you'll kill me for saying this. Lewis made me take him into the fort for Christmas presents. And I was saying to Kevin that morning, I was like, I just really don't feel good. Like, just, it's a pain you can't describe, but I knew it wasn't like a labour pain. And I was like, I just don't feel good. And he's like, just don't bother, go to the fort. I was like, the diva Lewis is, I need to take him to the fort. Like, so I did. And I ended up stopping at Peggy White's. Peggy White's?
Aye,
is that what it's called?
aye, the garage off the end.
Aye. And I stopped there and I was like, Lewis, I don't feel good. Like, I just didn't feel right. And he was like, oh no, it's fine. And I knew he needed his Christmas present, so I just kept going.
You didn't want to let him do.
Aye, I just kept going and I sat in the car while he'd done his shopping, and that was that for then. I was just totally floored. Christmas Eve, like, never slept a wink. Was up down, and God love Kevin, he was like trying to help me. We were sleeping down the stairs, sleeping sitting up, like all positions. I was trying to get asleep and I like just didn't feel myself, but I never wasn't concerned. Like, I wasn't overly like, oh no, song's no right here. Christmas Day had a good Christmas, and I can always remember me saying to my gran, she was touching my stomach, and I was like, oh, twin one's been a wee bit lazy, like, has they been moving, blah blah. I said,
you knew that you could differentiate between, because they were at each different sides.
Yeah, so Ava, she was my twin one. She sat lower, and Ayla was my twin two. She sat breech up the top, and I could, you knew what one was moving. And I was only 25. This is me coming up 25 weeks pregnant. And then so Boxing Day, in my bed all day, couldn't move, and then something just clicked in my head, like,
you just knew.
Something just clicked, and there would have been the 27th, early in the morning. I just jumped out, like, I never had a house at this point yet, so I was staying with Kevin and his mum, and I just jumped up and I says, I'm going up to my mum's. This is 7 in the morning or something, right? And I'm like, I just need to go to my mum's. And I just jumped in the car and I stopped round the corner from my mum's at the shop, and I just literally just stopped everything, phoned maternity and said something's not right, like, they're not moving. I can't feel them moving, and they hit you with go for a bath, take paracetamol. I says, and before you say, I says, I've took paracetamol, I says, something's not right. And she was like, no, it's fine, just come down when you're ready. So I woke my dad up. I was like, I'm just going to the hospital just to make sure everything's all right. He doesn't deal well with panic. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, I just need to go and see everything's all right. They're just not really move as active as they're usually. And then I phoned Kevin. I was like, you need to come back and pick me up. Like, we need to go to the hospital. This pain is just really bad. But see, when I'm trying to see the pain, I can't remember the pain. But I knew at the time it was bad. Went down, they checked everything, it wasn't in early labour. So I was like, right, Kev, we'll go to Alton, we'll get some burgers for dinner. I remember it so clear, honestly. And he was like, that's fine. And then, because it was between Christmas and New Year, like, the hospital was like ghost town. There was no consultants in, there was next to nobody. And so they had to do an on-call consultant to come out. And she came out and she scanned me. And she was like both of them had good heartbeats, but there was something that Ayla had that Ava didn't. And I don't know what it was. It was this line or something. Their fluid levels were perfect, so it wasn't a 20-20 transfusion, but the automatic thought it was going to be. And she just says, prepare for giving birth, like, well, delivering the babies. And I was like,
and that's twins at 25
weeks.
So that would be extremely risky.
Like, you're not even in your third trimester yet, like, you know. And I was just like, but delivering them, like, she was like, but they weren't explaining things to me, like, they weren't telling me anything. They would just kept telling me they had to give me steroids, everything to kind of boost their lungs, boost their brains. And I was like, right, okay. And then I was getting moved to Edinburgh because there was no cots in Wishaw. Everything was just such a faffle. And then she told me that Ava, there was something to do with the lining of the womb or something. I don't even know what it was. but it was Ava anyway. It was sung wrong with Ava. And I was like, I got the COVID jag. Is it the COVID jag? But they wouldn't answer me. They wouldn't say,
They would never admit.
Do you know, they
that
would never
anyway.
say. And I was like, I had the COVID jag exactly a week ago that day. But they just kept, they never done anything, said anything about that. And so I was able to stay in Wisher. They gave me...
Did you go in straight away at that point? Were you admitted?
So I was admitted, but there was talking they were going to have to deliver the twins, but they were trying to hold off as long as they could. So they were like giving me all sorts, like this magnesium stuff, and oh god, it was awful. Everything was just getting left, right and centre poked into me. But they let Kevin stay with me, which was good. So he went and got I wasn't worried. Like, I was not even worried whatsoever. I was Googling like babies born at 25 weeks because I never heard of anybody having a baby born so early. And I was going through people's Facebooks, like, because I knew, like, maybe seen they had the baby premature, but I couldn't find somebody as premature as these two. And so but I was fine. I was alright and whatsoever. And then the 28th, December 28th, 2021, I hadn't slept that full night. Like, I was awake. I was through the ear after the midwife. Like, have you ever delivered babies born at 25 weeks? And she was like, I haven't actually. Like, she's like, but the people for the nursery, they called it the nursery, the neonatal. She says they'll come in and see you, and discuss everything with you if you're going to deliver the twins. I'm like, right, okay. They never came either. No, my care was bad or that. Like, they were absolutely amazing, but they just weren't good at telling me anything.
And the fact that it's holiday time, which shouldn't be an issue.
I know.
You're talking about life.
I know. But then I was getting moved to Glasgow. They were transferring me to Glasgow. Bags were packed. Was waiting in the ambulance coming to get me, and then they came back and says, no, you're not going to Glasgow anymore. So it was a lot of like, I was going here, I was going there. Kevin had already left to go to meet me at the other hospital. I had to phone him, saying, no, you need to come back, I'm staying in Wisher, blah blah. So I must have been about 9:30 Tuesday the 28th. Because that would have been the Monday actually. So it would have been Tuesday the 28th. This woman, don't you know who she was, came in and scanned me. Next minute there was just everybody in this room, and then she just pressed the buzzer and that was me. I was just whipped away.
Down to the labour suite?
Down to like the, what would you call it, the theatre room.
Oh, right, because you'd have a section,
But, and then she was like, I was having to sign things, they were just taking all my jammies off me, like just, I was absolutely mortified that they were taking like, my bags and getting me Kevin. I was like, oh my god. Like, they just sign this, take this, and away was, and they were like, we're going to need to put you to sleep, and I'm like, no, do I go to sleep? Like, I want Kevin in with me. No, like, that's fine, like, we'll get Kevin gowned up and stuff, we need to deliver the babies. And he gave me, as soon as he gave me, I think it was a shot of morphine, that was it. Like, I was totally zonked, like, can't really remember much, but what I do remember is they came in and said, listen, Kevin can't come in, and I was like, well, go and get my mum. And they were like, your mum's not here. I said, she's in the car park. I was like, go and get my mum, because my mum, God love her, because of COVID, she wasn't allowed in the ward, but she sat in the car park the full time, just so she was there, do you know? But they never got my mum, and I was just lying there like, what's happening? Didn't have a clue. I was like, am I going to die? That's what I thought. I truly believed never mind the two babies, like, they just weren't. I was just like, am I going to die? And they were like, no, you're fine. But see that, it was, you never heard anything, like, no, you never heard a cry, like, nothing. So
were you aware when they were born?
So I was aware when Ayla was born. Ayla was my twin too. Ayla's the surviving twin. I was aware when she was born because they showed me Ayla, but they never showed me Ava. And it wasn't until they were stitching me back up and the consultant was trying to tell me Ava had to be resuscitated, and all I could say was, but she's away, and I thought Ayla was Ava. I says, tell Kevin to take a picture. I was too high, like I was too in cloud nine, like they were here. I wasn't listening to the bad. I was like, tell Kevin to take a picture of them when they were going by. And that's when it all started.
So they resuscitated Ava successfully?
Yeah.
So they were both
here. Ava, so the reason for the birth, which I found out like, not actually that long ago, a few months ago, was Ava's heartbeat dipped. And it dipped that much by the time she was born. She had no heartbeat. So she was resuscitated for 12 minutes. Which is obviously a long time. Like,
aye.
But again,
how did you only find that out a few months ago?
So I didn't actually know. I knew Ava was resuscitated and all the rest of it, but I didn't know the reason why they had to take me for an emergency section there and then, until I read Ava's wee diary for the NICU.
Did you just get that? Did you just
no, I've always
it?
had it.
You've never read
I've
it?
never read it. It's always just sat in a memory box until a few weeks ago, and I was looking at it and I'm like, oh God. It said like I was a cheeky girl and dipped my heart rate, and that's why they were so born so quickly. So that was 9:30 and they were born for 10 o'clock. Like, it happened so quick.
And that was 25 weeks, twins at 25 weeks.
Yeah.
So what weights were they?
So Ava, she was £1,
Wow.
and Ayla was £1. I know. They were just, honestly, they would fit in the palm of your hand.
Oh my God.
Aye, they were so tiny. Even in pictures, it doesn't even justify how tiny they were. But they wouldn't let me go to the neonatal until I had a sleep, because I had been up for the full night, and so that you'll need to get some rest like before you get around here. Blah blah. So I did. I think I managed like half an hour, and I was like. And
Ava was alive and
she was
totally
alive,
fine at that point. Everything was
they
fine
were both,
to a point.
They were both ventilated, obviously, and incubated, all the rest of it. But they were here. They were alive. That's all I kept saying, is they're alive. And so they took me round. I think it was, so they were born at 10, so I must have rounded back at 1 or something like that in the afternoon.
So you got a rest for a few hours.
I was itching at the bit. I was like, no, I want to go. And they were like, no, you can't go. You need to sleep. But eventually they took me round, and oh God, what a sight! Like, what a fright I got. Like, I was like, they were just wrapped in bubble wrap, and their skin was just like jelly, and I just stared at, like, they must have thought like, that isn't like a first motherly instinct, like, hingy. I just stared at them, and I was like, oh God, like, they looked, I always say, like, you know, they looked like aliens. Like, they were so tiny. They hadn't even had normal skin. Like, their eyes were still infused. Like, they looked like they should still be in, like, inside.
And just know what you expected.
Nah, I get such a fright. And Ava, see, because Ava was my twin one, right, and she was always, every scan, she was always perfect. I always had that closer wee bond with Ava. Not that I did, but like, but I always went and seen Ava first. I don't know what it was. She was just, I used to always say she was the angel, and Ayla was always the cheeky one. She still is. And so I used to go and see Ava, and I was just such an, Jesus, this big happy bubble. Like, Kevin wasn't though. Like, Kevin kept saying to me, 12 minutes is a long time. 12 minutes is a long time.
Were they saying anything about risks of that?
Not at the time. No, that first day. But Kevin did keep saying 12 minutes is a long time, especially for an adult.
Had they spoken to him separately or anything
I don't
like that?
know.
No? Oh,
I don't even know.
Still don't know.
Nah. Unless they did, like, or I can't remember, you know. But I was just so happy. I was like, they're alive. Like, worst thing I'd done, announced it on Facebook. Wish I never done it. But I was just so excited. Like, I never knew, I had no idea what was about to come.
Ahead.
And so kept going on to see them and stuff like that. And even at the time, like, Ava looked poorly, but to me, I thought that was normal. I thought the way she looked was normal. And Ayla, she looked alright. Like, she was actually, like, she was moving about and stuff, and just looked fine. and Ava was obviously all bruised because she had to be resuscitated and stuff. So it was the following day they took us into a room and they explained obviously they were born extremely premature, which they call them micro-premies, because there's premature and then there's micro-premies.
That has got to be the smallest possible for a baby to then survive. I would imagine. I don't know, but it sounds like it.
I think it's up to, I think they can help them in, is it 22 weeks? They're born after 22 weeks.
It used to only be 24 years and years ago, but I don't actually know
it was,
about it.
And they took us into a room and the consultant, and to this day I still praise him, like, still praise him, but he has a really strong accent and I couldn't understand him. Like, I was just sitting there smiling. Like, and he's telling me that Ava's condition was very, very critical. The both of them were, but Ava's condition was slightly different for Ayla's because Ava lost a heartbeat. And I'm sitting smiling at this consultant. He must have thought she's not registering what I'm telling her here. And I'm smiling away like, oh, they're alive. Like, that's all I can hang in my head. Well, Kevin, they're alive. Like, but I'm happy with that. I see, thinking back to it, I was so naive, like so naive. I was just so excited, like, you know. It was horrible. But it was New Year's Eve. I was in there for ages. That's what it feels like. New Year's Eve, that's when I knew. We went round to do the bells with them. And I was standing beside Ayla, and I was like, we were touching like her leg and she was moving and like moving her arms and her legs, and I went over to Ava and she was just completely still, and it's as if somebody just got a big pin and just burst my bubble, and I just looked at her and I was like she looks really, really unwell, and it's if that song just sunk into me, and I'm like,
it hit you?
I was like, and I'm looking at the two of them, and you could see the difference between the two of them, and so the bells went off, and that was me. I just burst. I was like, nah. I was like, I can't do that. Like, reality just slapped me right in the face. And I texted my mum that night. I said, Mum, Ava's really poorly looking, and I couldn't sleep. And then it was like I had that instinct that something was coming, and so I was texting my mum all night that night and the New Year's Day. God love it, the breastfeeding mum was in, and she was trying to tell me how to breastfeed and that, because that is very vital for the babies, and I couldn't do it. Like, I generally couldn't do it, but so she was trying to help me, and I was like, I just want to go and see these babies, like, do you know. And
what do you mean help you? Were they wanting you to express?
Aye.
All right.
So
okay.
They wanted me to do that because it was really good for the babies. I couldn't do it. Like, my body just wasn't ready for it, and I was getting frustrated. She was just trying to help me, God love it, and I was like, I just want to go in and see them. And as I said that, the nurse came in, and she was like, the neonatal are wondering if you're going round. And I'm like, Kevin, go. I was like, something's wrong. I was like, go round, because they did say they'll never phone and tell you anything, or they'll never come round and get you. They'll wait till you're there. I said, they've come round. I was like, Kevin, go. And he's like, no, I'm waiting you. So she left. We went round, and they just sat us down and said to us that Ava, they've tried everything for her. She was completely, her brain was just
non-responsive.
Gone. Yeah. And it was because obviously the 12 minutes, the bleed was too bad in both sides, so she wouldn't have ever opened her eyes. She would have just lay there.
Nothing was developing.
Yeah. And then came the thingy was, I need to make the decision to turn her machine off.
So she was on life support, basically.
Yeah. Two of them were on the ventilator, and again I just looked at them with a blank face, like it was as if I knew it was, like, that point I knew it was coming, and I'm like, right, okay. And they kept going on about palliative care, and I was like, I know what that means. Like, palliative care is like end of life. So that means they were stopping all our meds. Like, they were stopping like all the morphine, they were stopping everything, that they were given her, and he says, despite COVID rules, go and get your family and let your family meet her before. And that was me. That was it. I was like, Kevin, he walked out. I was obviously like, I couldn't really walk at that stage still. It's like, Kevin, you want to come back and get me? And I just pure silence, going back to the maternity ward. And where my wee room was, I had my own room. But, you know, it's like you walk by other mums and that. And
with their healthy babies.
It
is brutal that. I've said that about loads of things with the hospital, that all that's together and it's...
I know. So we were just going back, and as soon as I got there, I just totally... I can just remember this scream, like, inside my head, like, this scream. And there was one of the clinical support nurses, Claire her name was, and she was great with me, like, she was great. And she just held me, like, she just held me, and she was like, do you want me to phone your mum? I was like, no, I'll phone them. I was like, I'll do it, and phoned my mum. I was like, you'll need to come to the hospital and say your goodbyes to Ava. And I just said it as blunt as that, like, you'll need to come say your goodbyes, you and my dad, and could you go and get Kevin's mum? You'll need to come down. So that was a bit of
horrible time.
It was like, you couldn't even imagine it, and obviously everybody in the hospital, their world's just continuing, you know, like, and I always say, you just don't know what, see when you're in through a hospital, you just do not know what somebody's just been told that day, like, and I waited in the stair, my mum and dad coming, and it was,
and that was it.
That was it. They came in, the consultant explained to them obviously what they told us and about Ava. My poor sister had COVID. Well, I'm sure she was just at the end of the 10 days, and I remember I said to them, I says, can we keep her to Monday so my sister can see her? And they were like, no, it needs to, like, you could, but it's going to make her suffer, like, because they were obviously withdrawing everything. Preferably need to be the day, like the night. Man, you get christened. Everything just was 100 mile an hour. Like, there was talk about obviously getting her christened, and because Ayla would have been christened when she was like out of hospital, and it's such a blur, but it isn't a blur. Like, I remember it so clearly, as if it was just the other week there. So I went back, and they were offering me the Ohana suite, which is like, I could take Ava with me and we could be in that wee suite together, out of everybody, like the neonatal and stuff like that. And I was like, no, I need to go home. I was like, I need to go home. I was like, just discharge me. I was like, I couldn't stay there anymore. Like, I didn't really know what the Ohana suite was either, but I just wanted away. I was like, I need to go. And I still regret this, like, because you would think I would spend every second with her, but I needed away. I just had to run away from it. Like, that's what I done, and I went home, and I was like, I'll come back down when we're about to do it. I just discharged myself and went up to my mum's, had dinner, and then prepared myself to go back to the hospital. And it was quite intimate. Like, it was me, my mum, my dad, Kevin, his mum and brother, and they were so nice to us. Like, they couldn't be any nicer about it. And we had Ayla, and I haven't held them yet either, by the way. They're 5 days old and I've not even held them. And they brung Ayla out our incubator for, like, wasn't even half an hour before she had to go back in. So I got a picture of the two of them, like me and my mum and the two of them together. I still hadn't held Ayla at that point, and we all just took a turn holding Ava, and I think it was like 11 o'clock or 11:30. That's when I said to them, because I didn't want to go on New Year's Day. That was another thing. I was like, I don't want her anniversary being on a new year, like New Year's Day. Like, that was just a constant, like, heartache for me. So it was 11:30 that night, and I was like, right, well, I'm ready. Like, and I just held her. Until, and I kept saying, please keep going until, and it was just after midnight, and there was nothing. It was like she heard me, like, just hold on to midnight. And then I said to my mum, I was like, she's away. I was like, because I could feel her wee back going, and she was like, she literally fitting like the palm of my hand. You could hold her, and I could feel her wee back going, and then there was just nothing after midnight. So I took that as a wee comfort, you know. So then that's been the rest. That's that big part of it. Obviously I still had another 4 months in there with Ayla.
Were you in the whole time? Did you stay?
No, I never
No,
stayed.
do you go?
No.
Usually the mum goes home.
Yeah. But this is the part where it's hard, because as hard as like, a neonatal death is, some parents don't need to walk back in there. Whereas I had to keep going every day. The first 3 days, the two of them were in a room together, and we got to do like handprints, footprints, all that stuff, which was really nice. It was me and my mum. We got pictures done as well with Ava. That was really nice. And then that was it. After 3 days, it was just back to me. Ayla was back in beside all the other babies, and I just felt like that was it. Like, she'd have been away and she was gone. I had to continue to fight for Ayla now. Like, and our funeral was 3 weeks later, so the day before Ava's funeral, Kevin caught COVID. And they're only 3 weeks old, so Ayla is still critical condition. Like, she's still very touch and go. And the day before Ava's funeral, Kevin says, I've got COVID. I says, oh no. I was like, cancel the funeral. Because they weren't even letting Kevin into the funeral parlour. Like, he had to stand outside. I was like, cancel the full entire funeral. I was a mess. I was like, and I couldn't go and couldn't go to the hospital for 10 days either to go and see Ayla.
Because you would then need to
Because I had to isolate, because Kevin had it. So I was like, cancelling the funeral. That was it. Wasn't doing it. If Kevin couldn't get in, I wasn't going. And then Harry was the chaplain at the Wisher General. He phoned me. He's like, Kirsty, we'll do the full service up at the graveyard. Kevin needs to be there. He's not got to miss his daughter's funeral, obviously. But we still had to stand apart. So my sister came in the car with me and Ava. And
did you get to take Ava with you?
Yeah.
So she was able to come out by that point?
Yeah.
She must have done really well in those 3 weeks.
Oh, Ava's the one that passed.
Oh, sorry.
No,
oh my God, getting their names. Aye, sorry. Fine. So you had a
Aye. So
they're lovely names, by
Ayla.
the way. I was thinking that. I love their
Ayla.
names, but aye, sorry. Right, so Ayla was still in hospital.
Ayla was still in hospital.
Ava, sorry.
So I had Ava, and then we got the funeral done with, and I had to go 10 days without going out to the hospital. And that was just, like, you couldn't even imagine. You couldn't imagine somebody taking that power away for you. Like, that's my daughter, and you're keeping me away apart from her for 10 days because of COVID. Like, I was so angry. Like, understandable. Like, you wouldn't want her to get COVID, right? Definitely not.
Yeah.
But it was that kind of thing. Like, I wasn't allowed in for 10 days.
But it was just, the whole thing's just so frustrating.
So I lost a daughter, and one's in hospital. I can't go and see her, and it was just, once the 10 days were over, it was like, it was horrible. I've not even got words for it. You couldn't even write it, like, how that would happen to somebody. But after the funeral and after the 10 days of COVID, life just went back to kind of normal again. Like, into the hospital, seeing Ayla, Kevin went back to work. It was just me, the full time. The Ayla was in hospital because Kevin had to go back to work. My mum wasn't allowed in again, because there was only two parents, and if I took Kevin off that and put my mum, Kevin wouldn't be allowed in to see her. So 4 months, absolute hell.
Torture.
Going in every day wondering what I'm going into. Like,
that's a week just going right in, don't you? I get it. It's too warm not to have the windows down there. Aye.
So she was in intensive care for 3 months. You would walk in, she could be getting like a scan done in her brain. She had a bleed in her brain as well, Ayla, just because she was born so premature, but they always reassured me that I was taking Ayla home. They always said it to me, like, Ayla is going home. She will come home, like...
Were you worried? Was that obviously a big concern?
Yeah, because I never bought
for
anything
you?
for them. Like,
Yeah.
I never bought anything because...
I can't imagine what
I had a
that
few
would
things, like I had my pram and stuff, the twin pram, and car sheets and some wee bits and bobs like clothes and that, but I was still so early in my pregnancy that I never actually had a lot. But even for Ayla, I still refused to buy her anything because I didn't know she was coming home. My dad sorted the pram out, like, because I hadn't even picked up my pram yet. So he managed to like, explain to them what had happened, just change the pram to a single one.
Oh, your poor dad as well.
I know.
What a horrible thing.
I know.
Have to explain.
And I always remember when that happened to Ava as well. I was so strong. Like, I was so... Compared to now, like, I probably cry for Ava every day. Like, but back then, I was so strong. Like, you wouldn't think that had just happened to me. And I remember I looked at my dad one time and I was like, Dad, are you alright? And I'm asking him if he's like, you know, I was like, Dad, are you going to be alright? Because he was distraught as well. Like, it was the first grandchildren as well. And I just cared about everybody else. And the odd wee time I did have a breakdown, like I was like, but right up to Ayla was home, I was just so, it was like just a blank bit of paper, get in there. People around me wouldn't even thought she's lost a baby in here, unless Ayla had the wee purple butterfly on her incubator, which meant that she was a sibling.
Oh.
It let people know,
God,
like, nurses and stuff.
Great.
Yeah. And she had Ava's a wee keyring saying Ava on it, Ava's name, but we made them when the two of them were still here, because the nurses were great. Like, they were absolutely great. See, every day, like, they would do wee notes and stuff, like, as if wee diaries. So I have got like some stuff at Ava's first 5 days before she passed away. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I don't know what I would have done without them. Mm-hmm. Like, they were my backbone, the nurses, definitely. Because I used to just sit there. I wouldn't even ask to like get her out of the incubator. She was 4 weeks old before I held her. Like, I would just sit there and just stare at her. And I'm like, does she know, like, does she feel me? Like, you know, all these thoughts start coming, and my wife, I don't bond with her. Like, just everything was going through my mind.
And how did you bond?
We did.
Aye. Or do you feel like you did?
We did. Aye.
Say.
It's obviously like, you kind of grieve all that, like, when you have a baby, like, you're the first to hold them, first to feed them, first to do everything. I never had that, so I used to get really jealous with other people. Like, I used to be like, I wasn't happy for them. Like, that sounds terrible, but if somebody had a baby, I just wasn't happy for them. Like, I was just like, appreciate that. Like, do you know, like, I used to just get dead angry with everybody. Like, even especially people posted about twins. Like, I would block them. And stuff. Like, I was like, just
but it is quite a hard thing to deal with. I mean, that's putting it mildly. It's horrendous.
And then, so the first time I never went to the hospital. This was after the whole COVID thing. I was really unwell. Like, I think I just made myself so ill. And they say to me, like, just rest. Do not come into this hospital today, rest. Because if you're not well, what good are you here? And that was the first day I took a panic attack. I never felt anything like it before. So I had a bad bleed. And I went to the doctors and they gave me tablets. They just said I was just doing too much. Like, I just had, like, a traumatic birth. And I've never stopped since the day I had, like, gave birth. And she says, like, take these tablets to calm the bleeding down. And So I never went to the hospital that night. I stayed at my mum's, and I just lay down, and I was like, Mum, I was like, my throat. I was like, Mum, my throat. And she's like, what is it? I was like, Mum, I can't breathe. I was like, I can't swallow. I said, I think I'm going to swallow my tongue. I was like, Mum, you'll need to phone an ambulance. Like, I was proper, like, in a state, and I'm texting Kevin, like, Kevin, you'll need to take me to the hospital. Like, I think I'm going to die. I was like, I'm really, really scared. I think I'm going to die. Nobody was like I felt nobody was listening to me, you know. And so my mum's phoning this ambulance, and I'm like, Mum, you'll just need to drive me down to the hospital. Like, we'll need to go now. And I was biting my tongue because I was so convinced that I was going to swallow it. And so my mum texted me A&E, my gran, and I was telling them, I was like, I think I've took an allergic reaction to these tablets. And see the way they looked at me as if to be like, God, is she alright? Like, do you know, it's like they knew that I wasn't taking an allergic reaction. And you know what the wait's like in A&E. So I kept going up and down to the reception person. I was like, it's getting worse. I was like, I can't swallow. I'm going to swallow my tongue. And today, obviously, my tongues looked fine. And the nurse came out and got me. And she was like, she's obviously read my file. And she was like, where's your daughter? I was like, she's up the stair. And she just gave me a cuddle. She said, sweetheart, you're taking a panic attack. I was like, what? Like, do you know, I was like, a panic attack? I was like, I genuinely thought I was going to die.
People describing panic attacks, especially first time, always say that. That's what they think. They're either having a heart attack or they're just going to suffocate and die.
She's like, see that, you're having a panic attack? And see, as soon as she said that, I was like, oh God. Like, I felt fine. Like, the whole numbness that I felt just went away. And they let me just lie for like a good couple of hours, and just to make sure I was all right and stuff. And she was like, you've been through unimaginable, like,
trauma.
You're experiencing a panic attack. And I was like, is that what it is? Like, I thought maybe I had a panic. Now people say, I'm taking a panic attack. I thought I had one before, but no, I definitely didn't. And I think everybody just knew round about me that that's what was happening. But I just needed somebody to just listen to me. Like, I needed to go to A&E, and that's where the whole anxiety started coming. Like,
and was that the start of
you,
I suppose, process?
Yeah,
if that's the right way to put it.
Yeah, but even still, see, the whole time, I was just in survival mode for Ayla to survive. So I had counselling and stuff, but nothing was about Ava. It was that Ava died, we buried her. Right. That was it. Like she was gone for sight and mind. Like, such complex trauma. Yeah. Really. My focus was, and everybody else's focus was, getting Ayla home. And the 4 months, it's a roller coaster. Like, that's what they tell you, it is a roller coaster in there. Like, you're up, you're down, like, you're all about the place. A bit of a wonky roller coaster. But everything she just done so well. Like, she was just, there was never an issue with her. Like, she maybe took the odd wee infection, but she would bounce back. Like, she done great. I'd never had any scares with her. Like, there was a few times she dipped, like, her oxygen and stuff like that, but I never had any scares at all. Like, but you hear some stories. And so what happened to some people run about me. Like, sometimes you were like, oh God, that you knew the noises, and you're like, that isn't good. And you used to just sit there and you didn't know how to look. You're like, that noise isn't good. So Ayla did really well the whole time. And she got out at 4 months. She's nearly 4. And she's just a normal 4-year-old. She's nothing. She's absolutely nothing. Like, we were told that she could have this, she could have that. Cerebral palsy was one of them. She would maybe never, like, non-verbal. We were told all the odds, and she's perfect. She definitely can talk. She's so clever. Like, she's not even like in my eyes, she's not your average 3-year-old. Like, she's tiny. Like, the only thing she's not caught up with is her height.
That'll come, but
aye,
there's plenty of time for that.
she's so clever.
Aye. And do you talk to her about Ava?
We do.
So she'll always know about her twin sister.
She knows she's got a sister Ava, and she knows when we go to the graveyard we got to see Ava.
Aye.
And she knows. There's some things she's done and you're like, how would you know that? Like, I definitely think they do have a twin instinct bond. But aye, she came home and she was, I mean, that's what I'm going to say, like, when Ayla came home, I've no memory of the first year of Ayla's life, because again, I was that anxious and petrified that she was going to die that I never enjoyed her first year of life. And I used to never let, like, people in my house, like, say if anybody has such as like a sniffle. To this day, I'm still the same. Do not come near Ayla, because if she gets this, she's going to be back in hospital and she's going to die. That's what I thought. And it wasn't till Ayla was 2. It's like, that's when I started grieving for Ava, and that's when I started learning, like, I've got bad anxiety, I've got bad health anxiety, like, for me and Ayla. And aye, the first 2 years of Ayla's life, I was just completely, like, survival mode. Like, there would be some mornings I would, like, be absolutely bawling my eyes out, begging Kevin, do not leave me, I can't be I can't look after her, I don't know what's wrong with her. Like, I had her down to the hospital every week to get checked, because she was home in oxygen. I thought she was just going to die. That's what I thought every day for the first year of Ayla's life. We never done anything, we never went to any groups, we hardly even, like, we never done anything. And aye, so that's when...
So what about, like, the support for you after it then? When did things, because like we've already said, you're here the day, and this is like the first time you've talked about it from beginning to end. It's nearly 4 years. You know, they can't put a time on it, all of that kind of thing. Grief takes as long as it takes, trauma processing, whatever. But what support have you had? What, did you go when you had that first panic attack, or what's there been?
They used to did in the hospital. They did used to send, like, bereavement midwives round. But no, I'm fine. I don't need it. Like, and actually, my counsellor now was.
So you go to counselling?
Yeah, I still go to counselling.
You can tell me about, like, that.
The day. But she worked for the NHS at the time. She was a bereavement midwife, and she used to come round and she used to try and get me, and I used to be like, no, I don't need it, like, I'm fine, I don't need counselling. I just didn't want it. But there was another one who used to come in and get me, and it was just about Ayla, like, it was just how I was feeling about Ayla. Nothing was actually for, like, grieving.
But it's so complex in your situation, because you've got 2 minimum situations there that...
I know.
Your process,
because I would say that the neonatal is traumatic for anybody. Like, not everybody's story is different. Like, nobody can compare to your story, or I can compare to somebody else's, because it is the worst time of their life, and I'll never take that away from anybody, and I'll never say my story's worse than yours. Like, never, because I know what it's like in that place, that ward. So I wouldn't ever say, well, my story's actually a bit more traumatic than yours, do you know?
No.
Never ever do that.
Aye.
So it was good for the counselling in that sense, because everybody is in there and everybody knows what it's like. But nobody actually knew how to deal with, well, I'm in here with Ayla, but I'm also grieving for like my baby I've just lost. So it was one had to get pushed to the side and focus on the other. And obviously, like, as bad as it sounds now, like, Ayla was my focus, and I couldn't bring Ava back, so it was kind of, we'll deal with that. But obviously we dealt with it, and it came and bit me like 2 years later. It was like a total delayed reaction. I used to think I was going insane, like, genuinely insane sometimes. I thought I honestly thought, I'm surprised I'm here today, like, because I used to always say, this anxiety's got to kill me, it's going to kill me. No purposely, but I was that anxious. I believed that it was going to kill me. I couldn't cope with it. I couldn't cope being that mum to Ayla and no having Ava. Like, it was just totally, like, it's a hard one. You can't even describe it. How horrible it is.
So how did you get the support? Tell us about that.
So,
What's out there and how you got what you needed.
The health visitor referred me to Healthy Valleys. Is that what they're called? Healthy Valleys. And
is that a charity?
It's a charity, aye. And she used to come out and, God love Katrina. I used to like never reply back to her because again I was just like, leave me alone. Sometimes got very overwhelming for me very easily, and I just leave me alone. But I ended up going and I went to this group counselling thing, and I remembered Vicky who was there, and I was like, I remember you for the hospital. So she knew my story, like, without me having to open up a can of worms, like, do you know. And I ended up going private with her, and I've been there for nearly 3 years, every month I go, and she's great. She's absolutely great because she knows, because she was there.
And that's helped you.
Yeah.
And that's what's getting you.
That's what gets me probably here, like here today. But even some days are better than others, you know, like, I mean, some days I can be very strong and I'm like, right, I'm ready to move. Like, I'm ready to move on and like live my life, and then there could be the next day and I could just be like, I don't want to do the day. Like, do you know,
and again, that is the journey of grief.
Yeah, like I've not even been able to return back to work or anything because the trauma, it's just too much. And Ayla, she has a big germ, like she catches everything. Like,
but Wayne's are like that.
Everything, aye.
Anyway.
And the thought, I was like, and I believe I'm the only person who can look after Ayla. Like, when she's unwell, I don't think anybody has got the capability to look after her. Like, I'm terrible. But everybody knows what I'm like. And I'm like, I'll end up losing a job. So that holds me back, you know. I'm like, I'll lose a job if I, like, go out there, because if Ayla isn't well, I need to look after her. And Ayla doesn't take unwell for a week. She takes unwell for like months. Like, a simple cold, it just floors her, and it's...
So you're still going through it, basically.
Still going through it.
Getting the support that you need in the counselling.
But I'm definitely much stronger than I was. Like, I can talk about it now, and I like talking about it because I think if you don't talk about it, then I just talk to myself, and like, it escalates, and then that's when you end up in that hole.
That's why it's always good to talk about anything.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So moving forward then, because we're just coming up to the hour.
I know, it's a big long story.
Do you want to do something? I know you're going to, like, we hope that this is the start of you being able to openly share on your social media and whatever. Is it ever crossed your mind that you would actually want to work in that? Because you're kind of, your job's kind of would link into it, what you're qualified in, a nursery nurse. So is that something that you want to do, maybe even charity?
So, like, I would like to, like, I just want somebody to know, if they're ever in my position, like, you will be fine. Like, you don't think it at the time, but just talk about it. Like, just break that stigma to, because people don't talk about, like, baby loss, like, the way that I think, as if it's a don't talk about it situation. Like, you know, just talk about it to somebody. Like, it's fine. Like, I just want to break that whole stigma to trauma.
I think what you'll find anyway when you do, if you are strong enough and able to go, you know, start talking about it and sharing your story on social media and whatever, I think you'll find that you'll connect with a lot of people that do want to talk about it. I mean, baby loss is something that, you know, it's like anything. If it's happened to you and if you've experienced it, you want to connect with people that get it. And, you know, the twin thing, there will be people out there, you know, in that situation, the same as you as well. And probably when you do open up publicly like that, that's the kind of people that you'll attract. But at the same time, don't put pressure on yourself.
I know. I just take day by day. Like, I
think that's the best.
I just float. Just float, see what tomorrow brings. But
this is a massive step for you.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, probably a year ago I'd be like, no. Like, I don't want to even mention it, but now I'm like, why? She was still here. Like, do you know what I mean? She was still why didn't you hide it? Like, you
Aye,
know,
Ava was one of your daughters.
I don't see, and I always tell people, like, Ayla's a twin, like, and then you need to explain that, well, she's a surviving twin, but she's still a twin. Even on a birth certificate, she's a twin. Like, do you know,
so that's it. That should always be that. Keep her memory alive for you, Ava.
Yeah.
And no, I think you've done amazing.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Well done. Thank you for sharing your story.
I hope that's
with
all
us.
right.
It was amazing.
On.
And yeah, we'll get this put out. We'll put your links and everything for anybody that wants to connect with you. They can do that. Thank you. I really
no problem at
appreciate
all.
it.
That's fine.
See you later. Bye.